My mama always said it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Today we're going over all of the tools, spare parts, and gear that I keep in the trucks when I go off on an off-road trip. Please like and subscribe. Hey you, it's Tara back with another What's Up Wednesday where we talk about truck stuff. Today we're talking about all the tools, spare parts, and gear that I keep in the trucks when I go out on an off-road adventure. I really take pride in being prepared when I go off-road, so much so that some of my friends call me AutoZone. So today I just really want to give you some ideas so that you can make your own kit. And yes, I am recording this after everything else and it's dark outside. But let's get into it. All right, before we get into it, there's a couple things I'd like to mention. Number one, this checklist does have some spare parts that are aimed towards the Raptors, but most of the things on this checklist can be adapted to whatever vehicle that you're taking off-road and could be used for inspiration to make your own checklist. Number two, this checklist is designed to help you stay self-sufficient on the trail. Now, it is a pretty detailed list, but it doesn't include everything under the sun that you may need to fix anything that may happen with the truck. It is a detailed but reasonable list of things for you to keep in the truck. Number three, I completely understand that if you're going out with one of the Raptor Run groups or the group of friends, you might not need everything that's on this list. With that said, you may want to coordinate ahead of time to see who's bringing what, and I'd even recommend asking the group that you're going with to see what they have on the chase truck, to see what kind of spare parts and tools that they have, which takes us to point number four. The more modified you are, the more specialty tools and other things that you may need to fix the truck. And along those lines, the more modified you are, if something breaks, typically the more substantial the fix is. Now, stock trucks typically are known to be more reliable because you can go out to any store and get spare parts. Lastly, number five, you can prepare as much as you can. Things are going to happen, and one of the main things that you can do to help prevent things from happening is to drive within your means and capability. When I'm alone, I drive pretty conservatively, but when I'm with my friends, I am willing to push it a little bit more. All right, now that that's all taken care of, let me show you what I bring with me. So I've broken up this checklist and what I'm going to show you today into four major categories. Number one, tools. 2, spare parts. 3, essentials and recovery gear. And 4, fluids and general items. The other thing I'd like to note on this checklist, and I'll call it out here a little bit as I go through things, is I have a list of base items and then additional items. Now, I'm extra, so I have a lot of the additional items. Full disclosure, I don't have every single item that's on this checklist. I was doing a lot of research to see how I could better my kit, so I do have some things on here that I don't even carry yet. All right, I have everything laid out here, but we are going to start with tools, beginning with an impact driver. I've got the 1/2-inch Milwaukee here, but you could use a torque wrench, which I also have, or a long-handled breaker bar. With that, you'll need a set of deep sockets, impact rated, and a set of combination wrenches. I've got a multitude of sizes in there of ratcheting combination wrenches, etc. I'm not going to go over all of the sizes that I have. Just know that with our suspension being so beefed up, some of the wrenches and sockets that you need are pretty big. Like I think the lower control arm is like a 32 and a 30. So you'll need some pretty big wrenches. The other thing to note is make sure that you have the right sizes and type of sockets that you need for your suspension. You might not just need the regular like hex size. You might need some of these 12 points depending on the suspension components that you have. I have a set of Allen key sockets here, including Torx bits or the 6-point star bits, and I have a bunch of adapters in here that take you from 1/2 inch to 3/8, etc., with some extensions. And I even have a spark plug socket here. So besides everything that I have in my tool roll here, the combination wrenches and sockets, I keep my impact driver in this little bag, and I have my lug nut key in here and the appropriate size socket that fits into. Of course, I've got the little Milwaukee driver thing here just to make my life a little bit easier. I have this smaller socket wrench kit. It's a 1/4 inch ratcheting wrench that has some smaller sockets here. And I keep that handy just in case I have to like disconnect the battery or something. And I do have another ratchet wrench here that has 3/8 and a 1/4 on the other side. OBD2 scanner, scan those codes that may pop up on your truck. Needle nose pliers, flat and Phillips head screwdrivers. including the small ones, or you can get like a kit like that. I'd recommend a pocket knife or a Gerber or some sort of multi-tool like that. A rubber mallet, always good to get those tie rods out of the spindle if you need to pop them out. An adjustable wrench. I would recommend one that goes up to 44 millimeters. That is to help you change out the inner tie rod. I couldn't find a 42 or 44, I can't remember which one it is, combination wrench, so I got a adjustable wrench here. There is an inner tie rod tool that I just ordered. I'll pop it in here that you can use instead of the adjustable wrench, but I actually still recommend having an adjustable wrench in your kit. And then I put this in tools. I could have put it into essentials maybe, but air down tool, and then a air compressor or an air up tool. I have the Milwaukee here. I've tried the Viair. I have a knockoff of the power tank. Whatever you choose, have some sort of mechanism to air back up when you're done. And to go along with all of the base tools, I do recommend a good off-road jack, a Pro Eagle, the Harbor Freight one. I've even got the Cat Jack here. All right, some of the additional items, nice to have items, is a set of needle nose locking pliers. Those are good for pinching off brake lines. Ask me how I know. A set of cutting pliers, another set of regular locking pliers, a circ clip pair of pliers. Those are good if you have to change out the upper control arm ball joint or something like that. I have this little set of mini crowbars here from Harbor Freight that have come in super handy when you're trying to get shocks into the lower control arm. These come in very, very handy. A trim removal tool is always good. The other additional item that I'll include is a tire repair kit, plug kit. I don't have my sidewall repair kit here, but a tire plug kit would be good just in case you do go through your spare tires. And then absolutely extra, I had to do this for the Rebel Rally that we did this year. I printed out the 2022 owner's manual because they don't give you a printed version anymore. In case the truck is absolutely dead, you have a backup. No, I don't keep that with me all the time, just on the really long trips. Okay, moving on to spare parts. The base parts that I recommend you having on hand is I always keep at least one air filter with me. I'm of the opinion that a starter should be in your base kit. If the truck won't start, you are really SOL. A mix of fuses, included the little square relay ones, and some pipe and CV clamps should be in your kit, as well as if you are running a stock configuration, an inner tie rod, which is not shown because I gave it to someone and I have one on order. They're on back order right now. And almost importantly is having spare tires. It's recommended to have 2 if you're going out on a long run, so that in case you wreck one, you still have another backup. All right, the additional or nice to have parts that I keep in my kit are pinion seals. Yes, an upper control arm. Most of the time it's the ball joint that fails, and you can take that out and remove it and replace it. We had to do it on the trail one time. Spark plugs, an outer tie rod, typically those don't break, but the ball joint can go out. I've seen it. Extra lug nuts. Speaking of lug nuts, if you are running aftermarket wheels, make sure that your spares are in the same configuration or have stock lug nuts if you only are using the stock spare. IWE actuators, these are used ones that came off because I did the deletes on the Gen 2. The IWE check valve, extra electrical wiring in case something needs to be rewired. And I've got 2 jugs here of random nuts, bolts, clips, that sort of thing. And then this is my used one, my broken one, a wheel speed sensor line, or on the Gen 2, you can just buy the sensors. The Gen 3, you have to buy the entire harness. All right, things not shown that I'd recommend having is serpentine belts, radiator hoses, or I do have another fix for that. A valve core tool and spare valve cores. Oh, also not shown in any of this is an LCA or lower control arm ball joint. Definitely needed one of those at one point in time in the past. And if you want to be really extra, depending on how you drive, a CV rebuild kit and even spare knuckles, uprights, whatever you want to call them. I have a buddy that brings extra knuckles because he has a tendency of bending them because everything else in his suspension is reinforced. So he actually brings spare knuckles with him. But at the end of the day, you can modify the spare parts list based off of your off-road vehicle and what's vulnerable on your vehicle, what you've seen break, etc. So you can tailor this however you want, but I would include some of those basic, less bulky items that have a tendency to break, especially inner tie rods. All right, moving on to the essentials and recovery gear. I would recommend everyone having this in their base kit. First of all, being a really good med kit. This is Desert Squadron, love them, has everything that you'd ever need in it. I have this extra large emergency kit. It has like an emergency blanket in it, water, I think even like MRE bars. That's optional. A vehicle or auto fire extinguisher. This one's rated ABC. I'd at least get an ABC rated fire extinguisher, a kinetic rope with soft shackles. I have this extra 5-foot rope here so that I can create a V coming out of the truck and have 2 points if I need to be tugged out instead of just one. I have had my front bumper kind of pulled out a bit, so I'm trying to prevent that from happening again. After that, an assortment of zip ties, duct tape, and electrical tape. With that, you can really fix a lot. Gloves and headlamp. I always keep extra like bungees or ratchet straps with me, and then of course rags to clean off your dirty hands. I have my antenna here to denote a radio or communications. All right, then last piece of recovery gear that I'd recommend are recovery boards. I've got these Max Tracks as well as the knockoff Amazon ones. These are better. You definitely get what you pay for when it comes to recovery boards. All right, last section, fluids and general items. Brake clean. You can do a lot with brake clean. It's like my big fat Greek wedding version of Windex. Electrical cleaner, contact cleaner, multi-purpose lubricant. I've got tri-flow in case my suspension gets a little bit squeaky. That's what's recommended if you have, FK Heims, ball joints, that sort of thing. Extra oil, coolant, brake fluid, extra fuel jug if you're going to be out and about and you think you won't have enough range. JB Weld and silicone tape. Again, you can fix a lot with this. If you don't want to bring extra coolant hoses, a silicone tape, some JB Weld and some of those pipe clamps can come in really, really handy. Emergency triangles, these are nice to have. I got these because they were mandatory at the Rebel Rally last year, and now that I have them, I throw them in my kit. Jumper cables or a booster pack like this can come in handy in case your battery gets drained, especially you Gen 3 owners. And then lastly, a moving blanket or one of these magic creeper things to keep yourself out of the dirt in case you have to get under the truck. Now, you may be saying, holy that's a lot of stuff. How do you pack all of this? Well, number one, I keep different stuff in the 2 different trucks. The Gen 3 is mostly stock, so I carry more spare parts in the Gen 3 than I do the Gen 2. But basically, everything that I have, all the tools fit into this Alpine off-road bag. It's really heavy when everything gets in it, but I can fit all the tools, the jump box, everything in that. The medical kit and emergency kit I keep in the back of the truck. When I'm in the Gen 2, I keep the parts that I'm bringing with in the Milwaukee pack out here, the extra nuts and bolts, all of the fluids go in this Milwaukee pack out. And I'll show you here in a bit where I put all my recovery gear in the Gen 2. When I'm out with the Gen 3, I have a bigger case. This is a Pelican case of some sort. You can get the size that you need depending on how much stuff that you're bringing. But I've got all of my recovery gear, my spare parts and everything magically does fit into that container. So on Coco here, the Gen 2, I do cheat because I've got this tailgate storage unit that I keep the impact wrench in, even a breaker bar and the recovery gear in here because those are the things that I'd want quick access to. So I keep quite a bit in this tailgate storage unit. This is the Hurricane fabrication tailgate storage unit, and yeah, it has really come in handy. So to demonstrate how everything fits in, tool roll, all of the wrenches and ratchets and mallets and this little mini ratchet kit all go in the bag with the creeper thing in the bag. Then on the Gen 2 in this Milwaukee pack out, I've got all the fluids, the starter, these 2 bins full of nuts and bolts, and I put like the pinion seals and the CV clamps and pipe clamps in there. I've got the spark plugs in there, still a little bit of extra room. I typically put the air filter there. And then this top tray has some of the additional fluids, brake clean, electrical cleaner, JB Weld, even a oil filter wrench here, some extra rags, and still room to spare, so much so that I typically put a pillow or like a beach ball in there so it all fits nice and snug and doesn't bounce around. And then the suspension parts that I have and some of the other extra stuff go in the Gen 3. I'm not taking those in the Gen 2. So that is it. I know this may seem like a lot, but I think it's a pretty reasonable list. I'm not suggesting anyone carry a long block or a spare transmission with them, even though the long block would have come in handy for me a couple of years ago. But use this checklist as you see fit. And if I missed anything, let me know. I'm always looking to make my kit even better. I'll put a link to the checklist that I put together for you in the description box below. And yeah, tell me if I missed anything. Next week, I'll show you how I get everything loaded up in the truck. But until then, get outside and off-road. Here's some of my other videos YouTube thinks you might like.